Welcome into An Acquired Taste, a podcast about tech, startups, venture, and whatever else we feel like talking about. Basically, I created this podcast because I'm too lazy to write a blog that no one reads. Today, I want to talk about the something is better than nothing myth. I recently actually posted this on LinkedIn and got a fair amount of feedback on it, so I figured I'd turn it into an actual episode. But let's just talk about this for a second. So the concept of this is, let's call it in smaller ecosystems, emerging ecosystems, and in new efforts and new startups, new ventures, whatever it is. A lot of times you can get trapped in this kind of, well, at least we did something. At least something happened. At least there is this thing that didn't exist before because nothing existed before. And I think that leads to a lot of really kind of mediocre outcomes, to be honest with you. For one, we have very constrained resources in small communities, whether that's a small nonprofit community, that's a small venture community, a small civic community, a small business community. There are only so many, as they say, nickels in the jar, right? There's only so much money to go around. There's only so much talent to go around and all of those things. And if we are dedicating resources to something that is frankly not as good as it should be, or certainly less good than it could be, then we're kind of buying into that the something is better than nothing mentality. And I think that ultimately kind of destroys value, limits resources, and kind of perpetuates that mentality over a longer period of time. You know, the unintended consequences of poor or even average performance, I think, are pretty intuitive. If you just are okay at something for long enough, then you're probably either going to go out of business or be replaced by something better. And if ultimately you're satisfied with that, meaning that at least something is better than nothing, it seems like the outcome is predetermined. And not only is that disappointing, but I think ultimately that limits growth in pretty much any area, whether it's personal growth, business growth, community growth, et cetera. I also think that it can be used for an excuse for poor performance, like, hey, we're trying, right? This is hard. Nobody's done this before. I get it. Those are all reasons for struggle. Those are all reasons for, people not to be successful right out of the gate. But as soon as the mentality changes to, but at least I'm trying, or at least it's better than what was there before, which was nothing, I think that's when people start settling for that mediocrity. It's when people start settling for less than their best effort, less than the best outcome. And over time, that becomes a little bit of a disease, a little bit of a cancer, because other people start feeding off of that. If they start seeing people have success, I guess in air quotes, or seeming success or recognition around kind of mediocre performance, well, you're just encouraging people to have more of that effort to continue to be mediocre at what they're doing. And then long term, kind of create this, legacy or reputation within your community, within your startup ecosystem, whatever the case may be, or even just within your own business, that good enough is just trying. And I think ultimately that's not the answer. I don't think that's how you move forward. I don't think it's how you grow. And so I encourage people to really push back against that, right? Which is, that's okay to say, hey, I tried, it didn't work, or hey, I tried and it's hard, and maybe this ultimately isn't the answer. But it's when you become satisfied that the effort is the end goal and not the actual outcome or not the actual execution or the quality of that execution, that's where I think it starts to get dangerous. And that's when I think people start kind of equivocating or making excuses or settling or whatever the case would be. And ultimately, I think that holds people back from fully realizing whatever it is they're trying to do. So anyway, that's my opinion. Love to hear your comments. Tell me I'm wrong. I am often. But in any case, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.